Imagine this, you're in front of her, that incredible woman who makes your heart soar. You try to make conversation, make jokes, tell stories, but deep down you feel like you're skating. She smiles, but it's that polite, distant smile, as if she's just waiting for the opportunity to end the conversation. When she finally finds an excuse to leave, you stand there, paralyzed, reliving every word, trying to understand where you went wrong. And if you carry on like this, how much longer will you spend repeating the same mistakes without realizing it? Perhaps you've already noticed a pattern. The more you try, the further you seem to stray from what you really want. Worse still, you see other men, who seem to do the bare minimum, capture her interest with ease. Have you ever asked yourself, why can't I? Is there something wrong with me? This thought can be devastating, because it begins to erode your confidence, until you start avoiding these situations for fear of failing again. Now imagine going on like this for years. Every time a conversation goes wrong, you lose a little more of your self-confidence. The fear of being rejected grows, and soon you realize that you're isolating yourself. And what's worse, you start to accept that maybe it's not enough. But I want you to know, this doesn't have to be your reality. There is a reason why this is happening, and there is a solution. Talk to her like this. This is how high-value men, the ones who exude confidence and create genuine connections, talk to women. They don't stumble over their words. They don't get carried away by insecurity, and above all, they don't try to impress with tricks or pretenses. They follow tried and tested principles, many of them based on Stoicism, which give them the emotional mastery they need to stand out. They know how to convey strength and calmness, and women are naturally attracted to this. If you don't change the way you communicate, you'll remain trapped in this cycle. Opportunities will keep slipping away while others occupy the space that should be yours, but you can turn the tables. Here, you'll learn how to completely transform your approach, leaving insecurity behind and taking control. Let's move on to the pillars of how high-value men talk to women. But first, make sure you're already subscribed to this channel. I'm going to bring you a series of videos like this one that will help you master your communication and win the respect and admiration you deserve. Are you ready to step out of the shadow of fear and start really standing out? Then let's go, because this could change everything. Calm confidence in conversations. The basis of any successful interaction lies in a calm confidence that stands firm, even in challenging situations. High-value men don't let other people's emotions or the external environment dictate their reactions. They carry a presence that conveys security and demonstrate attitudes that reflect a complete mastery of themselves. This tranquility is not something superficial. It is the result of consistent internal work aligned with the principles of Stoicism. In conversation, this confidence manifests itself naturally. When someone tries to unsettle him with comments or provocations, the man of high value doesn't react impulsively. He maintains his posture, listens attentively, and responds only when necessary. Imagine a situation in which something unexpected is said. Many men would tend to justify themselves or react defensively. But the man who masters his emotions simply takes a breath, evaluates, and decides whether the situation merits a response or whether silence would be more powerful. This attitude communicates a clear and powerful message. He is emotionally stable and self-sufficient. In a world where exaggerated reactions are the norm, this calmness stands out naturally. Women quickly notice this security and are attracted to it, as it reflects strength and maturity. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great names of Stoicism, said that we have control only over our mind, not over what happens around us. This lesson remains as relevant today as it was centuries ago, especially in the context of conversations. When you master your reactions, you demonstrate a strength that transcends words. Instead of falling into the trap of trying to impress, the man of valor focuses on listening more than speaking. He uses silences intelligently, not as an uncomfortable pause, but as a space that conveys reflection and confidence. It's as if each word had a specific weight, chosen to communicate something really important. And this doesn't go unnoticed, especially when the majority tried to fill all their time with empty lines. Quiet confidence is also reflected in small actions, such as maintaining constant eye contact or adjusting your posture to show presence. These details speak louder than any speech. A woman feels when she is in front of someone who is comfortable with themselves, and that in itself is a big difference. This skill doesn't come overnight. It needs to be practiced. Mastering your reactions, training your patience, and learning to embrace silence as a powerful tool are fundamental steps. Over time, this calmness will become part of who you are, not just a technique. What sets a man of value apart is that his confidence is not rehearsed. It's real, solid, and built on the foundation of who he has become. Speak with purpose. The way you express yourself directly reflects the type of man you are. High-value men don't speak just for the sake of speaking, but use their words with intention and purpose. In a world where many conversations are superficial and hurried, standing out means knowing when to speak, what to say, and how to communicate. It's not about impressing with grandiose speeches or ready-made phrases, but about conveying meaning in every word. Silence, for these men, is not a space that needs to be filled in any way. On the contrary, it is a powerful tool. They often choose to remain silent, observing the conversation, absorbing the information rather than monopolizing the dialogue. This doesn't mean absence, but intentional presence. When they speak, their words have an impact because they have been carefully chosen. And that conveys something rare these days: true self-confidence. Imagine being in a conversation where everyone is trying to stand out, each interrupting the other with jokes or stories that don't always have a connection to the moment. A man of value doesn't engage in this noise competition. He observes, listens, and when he decides to speak, everyone stops to listen. Why? Because his words carry meaning. Because his words carry meaning. They're not just loose phrases, but thoughtful reflections that elevate the conversation. This kind of posture makes all the difference. Speaking with purpose also involves being present. Nothing destroys an interaction more than the feeling that you're not fully there. High-value men don't let their minds wander during a conversation, nor are they distracted by their cell phones or what's going on around them. They show full attention to what is being said, creating a genuine connection with the person in front of them. This approach is not just about talking less, but also about listening more. Active listening is a differentiator. When you pay real attention to what is being said, you show respect and emotional intelligence. Often, people don't even want immediate answers or solutions, but just to be heard. And the man who offers this earns a silent but powerful respect. Men of value also understand that they don't need to talk to prove something. They don't try to impress or show off. They know that their actions and behavior speak for themselves. This security makes their words all the more effective, because they come from someone who is not seeking external approval. And this inner strength is instinctively perceived by everyone around them. Speaking with purpose, however, doesn't mean avoiding casual conversations or relaxed moments. On the contrary, high-value men have mastered the art of balancing depth with lightness. They know how to make a conversation pleasant and meaningful at the same time, creating a comfortable atmosphere for those around them. This sets them apart in any environment, whether on a date or in a social situation. This level of communication takes practice. To begin with, assess the quality of what you say. Ask yourself, does this really need to be said, or am I just talking out of habit? The more you question yourself, the more aware you will become of the impact of your words. Over time, this will become natural, and your communication will become not only more effective, but also more authentic. When a man of value speaks, he doesn't just talk, he inspires. His words leave a lasting impression because they are not empty. They are reflections of who he is inside, someone who chooses to live with purpose and express this even in his speech. Emotional detachment. One of the pillars that define high-value men is their ability to practice emotional detachment. They understand that their lives cannot revolve around the validation or reactions of others. This emotional independence not only demonstrates maturity, but also creates a magnetic force that naturally attracts. They are not afraid of rejection because they know that it doesn't define them. Rejections are part of life, and the way they deal with them is what sets them apart. Contrary to popular belief, emotional detachment doesn't mean being cold or indifferent. It's about understanding that your value doesn't depend on other people's acceptance. This balance begins with recognizing that you are self-sufficient. Men who master this concept don't get attached to the outcome of a specific interaction, because their self-esteem isn't at stake. This attitude conveys security in a way that words could never express. Imagine you're in a conversation with someone who shows interest, but the situation suddenly changes and things don't go as expected. The average man might panic, try to compensate, or even force a connection where there is clearly no room for it. The high-value man, on the other hand, accepts the moment as it is. He recognizes that rejection is part of the process and moves on, without losing his composure or questioning his identity. This behavior in itself is a demonstration of strength. Stoicism teaches us not to cling to what is beyond our control. Epictetus, one of the great thinkers of this school, said, "It is not events that disturb us, but our view of them." Men of value internalize this philosophy in all areas of life. They understand that they can't control how someone will react, but they can decide how they will respond. This internal control is the real secret behind emotional detachment. Furthermore, detachment doesn't mean ignoring emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing them, understanding them, and above all, not being ruled by them. High-value men know that they can't build solid relationships if they are constantly seeking approval or trying to please. They build connections from a place of strength, not neediness. Practicing emotional detachment is not something that happens overnight. It requires reflection and practice. Start by identifying the situations in which you feel the need to prove something to someone. Ask yourself, why am I seeking this validation? Is it really important? The more you question these impulses, the easier it will be to break the cycle of emotional dependency. Another important aspect is being comfortable with rejection. When you accept that you won't be compatible with everyone, you remove an unnecessary weight from your interactions. This detachment allows you to be more present in each moment, without the pressure of trying to control what is out of your reach. And when you move with this freedom, the people around you notice. Finally, emotional detachment is about self-sufficiency. Men of value don't need someone else to validate their existence or happiness. They are complete on their own, and that makes them truly attractive. This independence not only facilitates their interactions, but also raises their confidence and resilience. In the end, emotional detachment is the key to living with purpose and balance. When you master this principle, your relationships, with women or anyone else, become healthier and more meaningful. Not because you need them, but because you choose to have them in your life, from a place of strength and clarity. Maintaining posture in any situation. One of the most striking qualities of a high-value man is his ability to maintain his composure, regardless of what is going on around him. He doesn't lose his temper, doesn't get carried away by the heat of the moment, and above all, doesn't react impulsively. This ability to control your emotions, even in tense situations, is not only admirable, it's also one of the most attractive traits someone can demonstrate. When you manage to remain calm in challenging moments, you immediately convey a message of strength and reliability. Imagine a situation in which emotions are running high, a heated argument or a misunderstanding that could easily escalate. Most people would react with irritation, escalating the conflict. But the man of value understands that his energy should not be wasted on hasty reactions. He listens, processes, and only then responds with clarity and balance. This ability to maintain composure is deeply linked to Stoicism. Stoic philosophers teach us that we can't control what happens, but we can control how we choose to react. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Roman emperors and an exponent of this philosophy, wrote in his Meditations, "Calmness is an unshakable force." He knew that self-control is not just a personal choice, but a differentiator that impacts how others perceive you. When you remain calm, especially in situations that test your patience, you demonstrate emotional maturity. And this doesn't go unnoticed, especially by women. They see this serenity as a sign that you can deal with life, its challenges, and even conflicts, in a rational and balanced way. This ability is magnetic because, deep down, everyone wants to be around someone who conveys security. But that doesn't mean you should ignore your emotions or pretend you're not being affected. The secret lies in recognizing what you feel, but consciously deciding how to act. Losing your temper or exploding emotionally only shows that you are not in control, and high-value men always prioritize self-mastery. They know that impulsive actions can destroy relationships and ruin opportunities, while calmness makes room for solutions and mutual respect. A practical example of this composure is in difficult conversations. Let's say someone challenges you or tries to provoke you. Most people would feel the need to defend themselves immediately, perhaps even with an aggressive tone. The high-value man, however, doesn't react that way. He keeps his tone steady, observes the situation, and often responds with a simple smile or a short, to-the-point sentence. This diffuses any attempt at conflict, showing that he is not easily shaken. This skill is especially important in the modern scenario, where social networks and instant communication encourage quick and often exaggerated reactions. Valuable men resist this impulse. They don't get caught up in pointless arguments or unnecessary drama. Instead, they choose their time and energy wisely, always acting in accordance with their principles and values. Maintaining composure also takes practice. Start by identifying situations in which you usually lose your temper or feel tempted to react impulsively. Take a deep breath, step back and ask yourself, does this really deserve my energy? Over time, this practice will become a habit, and you will begin to realize the benefits of responding calmly. This inner calm not only improves your interactions with other people, but also strengthens your self-confidence. When you learn to control yourself, you realize that you are in charge of your own life. This creates a ripple effect, positively impacting your relationships, your career, and your view of the world. In the end, maintaining composure in any situation is a skill that separates ordinary men from the truly extraordinary. It's a reflection of self-control, maturity, and strength. And when you incorporate this practice into your daily life, you realize that true power lies not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. Active listening. One skill that distinguishes high-value men is their ability to really listen. It's not just about being present in a conversation, but showing genuine interest in what is being said. In a world where most people are more concerned with talking or thinking about the next answer, active listening is a rarity that creates deep and memorable connections. This kind of undivided attention has a powerful impact, especially in interactions with women. Active listening goes far beyond hearing the words. It involves paying attention to detail, interpreting tone of voice, observing body language, and above all, showing that you are present. This means putting aside distractions, such as your cell phone, and concentrating completely on the person in front of you. This attitude not only shows respect, but also communicates that you value what is being shared. Valuable men don't interrupt or rush the other person to speak their mind. Instead, they leave the necessary space for the conversation to flow naturally. When you listen actively, you notice things that others usually ignore, such as hesitations, subtle changes in tone, or carefully chosen words. This perception helps you better understand the context and emotions behind what is being said, allowing for more meaningful and aligned responses. Imagine a conversation where a woman shares something important or personal. The average man might listen just long enough to respond with a glib comment or divert the subject to himself. A high-value man, however, listens with undivided attention. He asks questions that show genuine interest, such as "What did you mean by that?" or "How did you feel in that situation?" This approach makes her feel valued and understood, something that few can offer. Active listening also reflects a quality that women find extremely attractive: patience. Valuable men are not concerned with filling the silence or speeding up the pace of the conversation. They understand that moments of pause can be just as important as the words spoken. This balance between listening and speaking creates an environment where the other person feels comfortable expressing themselves without judgment or pressure. Stoicism, once again, provides a valuable guide. Epictetus said that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth to hear twice as much as we speak. This principle is timeless. By prioritizing listening, you demonstrate wisdom and emotional mastery, qualities that transcend any communication technique. What's more, active listening is not only a tool for creating connections, but also a way of learning from others. Every conversation is an opportunity to broaden your perspective and better understand the world around you. Practicing active listening requires conscious effort. Start by eliminating physical and mental distractions during conversations. Maintain eye contact, nod or respond with small gestures that indicate you are following. Avoid thinking about what you're going to say next while the other person is still talking. This is a common trap that prevents complete focus. If you need time to formulate a response, don't be afraid to pause. This shows that you are really processing what has been said. Another fundamental aspect of active listening is validation. Acknowledge the other person's feelings or thoughts, even if you don't completely agree with them. Phrases like "I understand what you mean" or "It sounds like that was difficult for you" create a sense of connection and empathy. This validation is a bridge to deeper, more meaningful conversations. In the end, active listening is a reflection of self-confidence and maturity. Valuable men don't feel the need to dominate the conversation or prove something all the time. They know that listening is just as important as talking, if not more so. This skill not only improves your interactions with women, but also strengthens relationships in all areas of life. When you learn to truly listen, you turn your conversations into enriching and memorable experiences. And that's a quality that never goes unnoticed. Body language communication goes far beyond words. Your posture, gestures, and expressions say much more about you than any sentence that might come out of your mouth. High-value men understand this and have mastered the art of conveying confidence and security through their body language. Even before you open your mouth, the way you present yourself already tells who you are. An upright posture, relaxed shoulders, and a slightly raised chin are clear signs of confidence. It's not about appearing arrogant, but about showing that you are comfortable with yourself. Men who move purposefully and avoid excessively nervous gestures communicate calm and control. Women sense this instinctively. A man with strong body language gives the impression that he is in charge of his emotions and his life. Eye contact is another key element. Looking into each other's eyes while speaking or listening shows attention, respect, and genuine interest. Frequently looking away can convey insecurity or disinterest. Men of value don't avoid people's gaze, but they don't use it in an intimidating way either. There is a balance, firm but natural eye contact that reinforces the message of confidence. Imagine being in a social environment where everyone is competing for attention. While many gesticulate excessively or move restlessly, the high-value man remains calm, with controlled gestures and calculated movements. He occupies the space without exaggeration, but in a way that demonstrates presence. That alone makes him stand out. In addition, the tone of his voice plays an important role in his presence. Confident men speak clearly, slowly, and without haste. They don't raise their voices to impose their opinion, because they know that their energy lies in the calmness with which they express their ideas. This, combined with an aligned posture and precise gestures, creates an image of solidity. To practice, observe your posture in front of a mirror or ask for feedback from someone you trust. Adjust small details, such as keeping your shoulders open and avoiding crossing your arms, which can seem defensive. Over time, these adjustments become natural and your presence is transformed. Remember, your body language is your calling card. It speaks before you even say a word, and mastering this art is essential to standing out as a man of value. So, had you heard about it? Did you know these techniques? Comment below if you've been through something similar or if you know someone who has. I want to know your story, and I'll help you in the comments. Now that you've gone through each of the pillars that define how high-value men talk to women, the question that remains is, what are you going to do with it? You've seen how calm confidence, purpose, emotional detachment, self-control, active listening, and powerful body language aren't just concepts, they're transformative tools. And the best part, they're all within your reach. Think about how these changes can impact not only your conversations, but your entire life. You no longer have to be at the mercy of rejection or hide behind insecurities. Everything we're talking about here isn't about trying to please or impress. It's about being genuine, self-sufficient, and in control of who you are. Men of high value are naturally attractive because they inspire confidence, respect, and admiration. If you ignore these principles, you'll remain stuck in the same cycle. Unconnected conversations, constant frustration, and the feeling that you're being left behind while others occupy the space that should be yours. But by applying what you've learned here, you'll have something that few possess: emotional mastery, clarity of purpose, and the ability to create genuine connections that leave a mark. Stoicism teaches us that true power lies within you. No matter the circumstances, you will always have control over how you choose to behave. When you master these principles, not only will women notice, but everyone around you will realize that you are someone different, someone who deserves to be listened to, respected, and admired. Now it's up to you. Put it into practice. Take one step at a time. Start small, but don't stop, because the man you want to be is waiting, and the road to him starts here. If this video has helped you, share it with others who also need to hear it. And remember, the real man of value doesn't try to conquer. He becomes irresistible simply by being who he is. Thanks for watching so far. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video to keep receiving the next content. Until the next video.